Ali Abdaal's secret to success was hiring an assistant. Ali Abdaal built a multi-million-dollar business spanning YouTube, online courses, and books, crediting one simple strategy for freeing up those crucial hours that allowed him to go from doctor to successful entrepreneur. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to implement his personal assistant system that he calls absolutely life-changing, why he's convinced that just 4 hours a week of assistance will completely transform your productivity and life, and how you can do it for even cheaper. Let's start by hearing directly from Ali about why he believes everyone needs this system.
I think everyone should have a part-time personal assistant, and that's an absolutely life-changing productivity hack.
So I do not have one, and I've struggled in the past, and like 5 years ago, I tried.
Now, Ali's absolutely right about this being life-changing, and I've seen this transformation happen with hundreds of my clients. But here's what most people don't realize. The struggle he mentions isn't just about time management, it's about mental bandwidth. When you're constantly juggling administrative tasks, you're operating with what I call cognitive fragmentation. Your brain never gets to fully focus on high-value work. The breakthrough moment for Ali came with something as simple as a ukulele. Let me show you this story because it perfectly illustrates how small delegated tasks create massive psychological relief.
I remember when I first got an assistant, I was just sort of like hanging around to be like, what are all the things I could delegate? I was like, I wanted to learn how to play the ukulele. I said, her name was Elizabeth at the time. I said, hey, Elizabeth, can you find me a ukulele for under like £200 and just find some reviews and just order it? And she was like, cool. The next day, a ukulele arrived at my house. And it's like, I'd been procrastinating from, again, playing the ukulele for like 2 years because all it would have taken was for me to sit down and spend 5 minutes searching on the internet for what's the best ukulele for a certain budget. But it's in a way so much easier to be able to say that to an assistant or to a voice note that you can then send to an assistant.
This demonstrates something I call the procrastination paradox. It wasn't that Ali didn't want to learn ukulele, it was that the simple research task felt overwhelming in the context of everything else on his plate. I see this constantly with my clients. They'll delay important goals for months, not because the goals are hard, but because the administrative steps feel insurmountable. What Ali discovered is what I teach all my clients. Delegation is not about saving time only, it's about removing mental friction. When Elizabeth handled that simple task, she didn't just save Ali 5 minutes, she broke through 2 years of mental resistance.
So my assistant Dan is remote, but he's based in the UK, so we've met in real life, which I think is like really useful. A lot of people try and hire a VA in the Philippines for $5 an hour and then they're surprised when it doesn't work. But like, if you have the ability to hire someone that you can potentially work with in real life some of the time, or at least meet in person, it's like just really nice. But anyway, Dan basically goes through all my emails, he deals with all my scheduling, things like scheduling this podcast, for example. I have basically outsourced the management of my calendar to Dan, so he deals with it. And it means that as emails come in and stuff, I'm actually not the first person to see an email. I'll see the superhuman notification on my phone, and if it's something like really interesting or really urgent, then I'll reply to it there and then. So yeah, scheduling and emails is a big one.
This email system is pure gold, but here's what Ali doesn't mention, the setup process. You can't just tell an assistant handle my emails and expect magic. You need what I call decision trees. For each type of email, your assistant needs to know what information do they need from the sender, what's your availability criteria, what requires your personal input versus what they can handle completely. At Wing, we often spend 2 to 3 hours with new clients creating these decision frameworks, but once they're in place, the system runs automatically. This is exactly why our onboarding process includes dedicated client success managers who help set up these frameworks. The psychological shift Ali describes, where he's not the first person to see emails, creates what I call reactive immunity. Instead of being pulled into reactive mode by every notification, he only engages with communications that actually need his specific input. But here's where Ali's strategy gets really sophisticated. Listen to how he handles complex projects.
Right now, Dan is hunting for a new property that we're moving into. We're trying to move studio spaces, ringing up estate agents and dealing with like booking viewings and arranging viewings. Dan is doing all of that, and he's just getting them to send us WhatsApp videos so that I can spend my time doing things that I actually want to be doing, like talking to you.
This maintains control while eliminating the time-consuming research phase.
Yeah, I've been telling all my friends, 4 hours a week will completely change your life.
4 hours a week, that's Ali's magic number. Now let's look into the math behind why this works, because Ali breaks it down beautifully.
And if you can find someone for like, someone local here in the UK, £15 an hour, so that's like $20 an hour for 4 hours. That's like $80 a week. And people are always like, oh, that's like $320 a month. That's so expensive. And I ask, okay, like, this is not for students who are broke. It's for people who have real jobs. It's like, what's your actual hourly rate? Like, you're doing the whole Naval thing of like, what is your actual hourly rate? Should you really be the one to do this thing that you don't want to do? But also the other way of thinking of it is like, if you could free up 4 hours of your time to, for example, spend with your family, how much would that be worth to you over the long term? It's like, okay, probably worth more than $20.
This reframe is everything. Most people think of assistant costs as pure expenses, but Ali correctly identifies them as an investment in optimizing your hourly rate. If you earn $75,000 annually, your hourly rate is approximately $36. Paying $8 an hour, like many clients do for a wing assistant, is actually a great ROI on your investment and on your time. What separates successful delegation from failed attempts is knowing what to delegate first. Many people either try to delegate everything at once, which can overwhelm their assistant, or they delegate the wrong tasks and see no meaningful impact. I've created a detailed guide that breaks down 50 specific tasks you can delegate to a virtual assistant, organized by impact level and complexity. It includes the exact instructions and templates I use with my clients to ensure smooth implementation. Link is in the description. It'll show you exactly where to start for maximum impact. What I love about Ali's approach is how he thinks about opportunities for delegation. Most people only consider obvious tasks like scheduling, but Ali sees delegation potential everywhere.
Beyond that, there's a lot of random admin tasks in life. Like, for example, I knew I wanted to get a cleaner for the house. Kind of a bit of a first world problem. But like, I don't want to be the one calling up random cleaning agencies in London and trying to find a cleaner who can like be there at the same time that I want and like do some of the ironing and like change the sheets and like. So I just said, hey Dan, can you find me a cleaner for the house? Basically if they can come in on a weekday morning and like do all the things including ironing, that's what I want. And it was like, cool, I'll call around, I'll ring a few agencies, and he found someone and now we've got a cleaner.
This is what I call life admin delegation, and it's where the real magic happens. Ali didn't just delegate business tasks, he delegated life friction. Finding service providers, comparing options, and making appointments. These tasks might only take an hour each, but they lift mental weight that lasts for weeks when delegated. I had a client who spent 3 months planning to find a house cleaner, not because it's hard to find cleaners, but because the research and coordination felt overwhelming alongside all the other tasks. One conversation with their assistant and it was handled within 48 hours. That's not just saved time, that's mental space recovered. The key insight Ali demonstrates is systematic thinking about where your personal involvement adds unique value. He could research cleaning services, but does that research require his specific expertise? Does it leverage his unique skills? The answer is obviously no, so it becomes an immediate candidate for delegation. This thinking extends to personal projects as well. When Ali wanted to learn ukulele, the instrument research and purchasing didn't require his musical expertise or motivation. It was pure administrative work that delayed his actual goal. By delegating the research, he removed the barrier to starting something he actually wanted to do. The compound effects of this approach become obvious over time. Every delegated task doesn't just save time in the moment, it removes a mental burden that was consuming cognitive resources. Your brain stops tracking dozens of small obligations and can focus instead on activities that actually move your life forward. I see this transformation constantly with my clients. Within the first month of working with a virtual assistant, they don't just report having more time, they report feeling mentally lighter, more focused, and more decisive about priorities. The assistant doesn't just handle tasks, they eliminate the mental overhead of task management. Ali's system also creates consistency that's hard to maintain alone. When you're responsible for everything, important but non-urgent tasks often get delayed indefinitely. When Dan manages property research or Elizabeth handles product purchases, these projects move forward regardless of Ali's daily energy levels or competing priorities. This is particularly powerful for business owners who struggle with context switching. Moving from creative work to administrative tasks and back creates what psychologists call switching costs. Mental energy lost in the transition. When administrative work is completely removed from your plate, you can maintain focus for much longer. The transformation Ali describes, from scattered entrepreneur to focused business builder, happens through systematic delegation of everything that doesn't require your unique skills and expertise. But implementation is where most people struggle, either because they don't know what to delegate first or how to communicate their standards effectively. That comprehensive delegation guide I mentioned walks you through exactly how to identify your highest impact delegation opportunities and implement them without the trial and error phase that kills most attempts. The link is in the description, and it includes the same frameworks I use with six-figure entrepreneurs to create systems like Ali's.